name is Paige. I'm a 27-year-old company employee. Just the other day, my boyfriend Kevin, who is the same age as me, proposed. Our plan is to greet both of our parents and then move in together, and we want to get married in 6 months. We'd already met Kevin's parents and told them the news, and they were really happy for us. But the problem is my father. My father has always been really annoying about titles and degrees. My father's motto has always been, "Don't make eye contact with a man that can't earn." Every single time that I see him, he starts talking about dignity as a man, so I was trying not to go back to my family house very often. But I needed to tell them that I wanted them to meet my fiancé, so for the first time in a while, I went back to my family house.
What is it, Paige? This is rare. Did you come here to get some allowance or something?
Even though he's being reunited with his daughter for the first time, he doesn't seem happy at all. I came here because I needed to talk to you.
Interesting. You came empty-handed. And this is exactly why you could only get hired at a small, medium enterprise. Don't you know the words, "Be grateful to those closest to you"?
Oh, so annoying. No, I did bring something. I handed it to Mom already.
I knew you haven't learned. I can't believe that you don't know the true order of manners. Things like that, you should be handing over to the father, who's the pillar of the family.
Oh, please. The last time I handed it to him, he told me that I should be handing over things for the house straight to my mom.
So, what did you want to talk about?
Actually, well, I'm going to get married.
That reminds me. Apparently your cousin got into medical school, and that's why he's a man, because he's got to earn a lot of money. Paige, at the very least, you better not get caught with a guy with a low salary.
Well, it's becoming harder and harder for me to say anything. Actually, the company that Kevin works for was just founded, and it's a small company with only 5 employees. And for people that work at a company that he doesn't know, my father looks down on all of them, so I don't think he'll make a good face.
Listen up! As long as you choose a man based on his titles and degrees, there's no mistake. If you choose the wrong guy, you're going to be unhappy for the rest of your life.
Well, honey, I know Paige is thinking about it properly. That's when my mom arrived. My mom seems like an obedient housewife, but because she backs me up in ways like this, I can be at ease coming back here.
What are you saying? If she was thinking about it properly, she wouldn't get a job at a company that nobody's ever heard of. And even college, she went somewhere that didn't make any sense. If I leave her, she just does whatever she wants.
Oh, come on, it started again.
The fact that you, Paige, are a girl is your only saving grace. If you were a man, you wouldn't be able to let your wife eat any decent meals, and you would just have a poor household. See, look at me. I succeeded in a major company, and that's why your mom gets to prance about as a full-time housewife.
My father's always talking about how amazing he is, and that's why it's truly a pain. What do you mean, prancing about? I said that I wanted to work, but you're the one that was against it.
Sheesh, and this is the problem with women. Only men who have no dignity would allow their wives to work. As long as the titles and degrees are proper, you can be happy. Do you understand, Paige? By the way, what did you want to talk about?
About that, you see, there's no way I'd be able to say it in this situation. No, I just bought a delicious cake, so I came here to deliver it. That's all. I'm gonna go home now. Paige! My mom seemed worried when I was leaving, and she walked me out of the house. To a father like this, there's no way that I can report about my boyfriend to him. I told Kevin about my dad, and I suggested that we just get married without telling him, but Kevin refused to listen. He said that he wanted to speak to my father and get his approval. He says that if my father can understand that I love you more than anything, and that I would do anything to make you happy, he was sure that my father would approve. That's true. I'm sure he'll be happy to see that his happiness of his only daughter is becoming a reality. 2 weeks later, I told only my mom that I wanted to introduce them to my fiancé, and I brought Kevin over to the family house. Just for this day, Kevin bought a new suit, and he even went to the hairdresser. He put in a lot of effort. And then it was finally time for them to meet. My father was sitting on the sofa in a bad mood as they welcomed us in. Even when Kevin was very politely greeting them, he was sitting there like a statue and didn't budge. Oh my, what a wonderful gentleman with such polite manners. My mom tried to back me up like that, but my father just sat there with his forehead wrinkled.
So, What company do you work for? It's called Office Michael. It's an IT company, and I work there as an engineer. It's a small company that's only been in business for less than 10 years, but we have relationships with many big businesses, and we're in the stages of growing right now.
Kevin, that was perfect! Knowing him, he probably practiced many times for that moment. When I thought about that, it made me really happy. But my dad sat there, looking unhappy.
And your annual income? Last year was about $80,000. $80,000? You seriously think that you can make my daughter happy with that pathetic amount?
Hey, wait a minute. I think it's a pretty high salary.
I'm earning $150,000 a year. I graduated from Yale University, and I supported my wife and daughter all by myself. I bet you didn't go to any decent college anyway, did you? No, I actually only graduated from high school. After that, I started working and... What was that? What did you just say? What? Don't tell me that you seriously think you can make my daughter happy when you didn't even go to college.
Honey.
Shut up! I'm not going to accept this. If she marries a guy without any title or degree, Paige is only going to become unhappy.
But Dad!
A college graduate with an annual income of $100,000 minimum. Otherwise, denied. Get out of my house, right now!
To my shock, I was kicked out of the house by my own father. I hate this. I'm sorry. Because of my dad, you had to go through such a terrible time. I was overwhelmed with feeling so bad. However, when I looked over at Kevin, for some reason he had a positive look on his face.
I guess he really thinks that a title or degree is life or death. In that case, why don't you bring somebody over that your dad would like?
What? What do you mean?
I know somebody that has the titles and degrees that your father would like, so I'll introduce you.
What? But... No, wait. Is he trying to tell me to get married to somebody else?
Well, just listen. What would you think about this?
I was starting to become really uneasy. But then, when Kevin told me the person that he thinks would be perfect, that completely changed. It was true that that person was my father's ideal title and degree. It's perfect! He would have been a perfect match to be my fiancé. When Kevin spoke to that person about me, he was totally on board. But we couldn't go back straight away and talk about marriage, so we decided to take some time in between. 6 months later, I told my parents that I'm considering getting married to somebody with proper titles and degrees, and I went back to my family house again with that person. I had already told them about his standards, and according to my mom, my dad was in a great mood. He really is a sucker for titles and degrees. Well then, I wonder what kind of face he's gonna make. I can't wait! I'm home, and I brought my fiancé with me. When I called out from the front door, I was shocked to see my father be the one to come over and greet us at the door.
Oh, Paige! I was waiting for you. Wait.
But as soon as he saw us, my father's smile disappeared. But of course that's the case. The person that I brought over was wearing an extremely flashy purple suit that was fit for nightclubs, and he spiked up his blinding blonde hair, and from under his sleeve, the beautiful artwork on his arm was showing. This was a little bit... no, probably a lot. No, very much so, a difficult situation.
What? This is the guy? What's up? Harvard graduate with an annual income of $500,000. What? You went to Harvard? And you earned $500,000?
He's perfect for your standards, isn't he?
You could just call me Michael or whatever you want. What?
My father's jaw was on the ground and he stood there in shock. My mom seemed like she was really struggling to hold in her laughter, because I'd already told my mom all about Michael. I abided by your demands and chose based on title and degree.
Thanks for having me, but it's hot in this house, isn't it?
Michael was boldly storming into the house and my dad was still in shock.
I can't drink coffee, so can you make sure you bring me out some orange juice or apple juice? Of course, it has to be 100% juice.
Oh my, what a cute little request.
Hey, don't you think you're being rude in somebody else's home? What did you say? No, well...
Here you go, orange juice.
Oh, Mama, thanks.
Zero manners. So, when are you gonna get married? In place of my dad, who was still standing there in shock, my mom kept the conversation going.
If Papa and Mama are okay with it, We're planning on turning in the marriage certificates right now. Papa?
He's panicking. Oh my, well, Dad, you said that if somebody went to a good college and is earning more than $100K a year, if the titles and degrees are in order, you don't mind who it is, right?
What? But that's that. Honey!
My dad was looking at my mom and with extreme eye contact, trying to get her to be against it. I'm totally for it. Because this is the man the page chose, so there's no mistake. That's my mom. Well then, why don't we go turn in our marriage certificate now?
Wait a minute! Yeah?
There, don't scare him too much. See, he just shrank.
Do you truly think that you can make Paige happy? What? Why should I have to make her happy? What? Because you still have the outdated way of thinking that a man should protect his wife? This generation's all about individualism. What do you mean? But like, you know what? We're gonna live really on our own, so nothing for you to worry about. Hey, wait, I won't accept this! There's no way that you'd be able to make parents happy with the look like that!
He was finally unable to stay quiet anymore, and my dad raised his voice. But Dad, you're the one that said if I choose a man based on titles and degrees, there's no mistake. If I do exactly as you say, I'm going to become happy, right?
What are you saying? If you're going to choose a guy like that guy that you brought over here last time is clearly much better!
Oh, he said it. Oh my, but you're the one that kicked Kevin out of the house, Dad, so even if you say that Kevin was better, it's already too late now.
If you're gonna get married to someone like that, an unemployed guy is still better! Oh goodness, your dad's terrible. I heard about you from Paige, so I thought that you were a pretty cool dude that doesn't judge people based on appearance. I thought you were gonna be a cool dad, but this is disappointing. I thought you were a dad that gets it, saying that a guy that can earn money is the best. Paige, if you're going to get married to a guy like this, I'm cutting off all ties with you. You're disowned.
I see. Well, in that case, I'm happy to cut off all ties with you.
What?
What do you mean, what? Did you think I was gonna come crying to you not to disown me? Too bad, so sad. You're the one that said there's no mistake if I choose a man based on title and degree, and I did just that, and now you're saying no again? Oh, this is crazy. You won't accept them unless they graduated from a good college. Even though Kevin didn't go to college, he studied IT and has been working super hard under a young CEO that only takes in engineering specialists. And he is a super smart, hardworking guy that climbed all the way to $80K a year. And yet Kevin didn't go to college and he works at a company that you don't know. But you know what? That's because your insides are completely messed up. Because the company where Kevin works is a super famous company that everybody wants to work with, and it's amazing! Anyway, marriage shouldn't be based off of titles or degrees. What's important in a marriage is to be thoughtful of each other and if you can make each other happy.
That's enough! What kind of daughter goes against their own parents? Do what you want! I'm not going to acknowledge you as my daughter anymore for the rest of my life! Wow, Mr. Papa, are you seriously going to cut off all ties? Of course I am! So you better leave this house along with her! Gotcha. Well then, guess I'll terminate all business with your company too. What? What are you saying?
Oh, I forgot to tell you this, but this guy is the CEO of Office Michael, and he is Kevin's older brother, and they apparently have a contract with your company. That's right, Michael, who was actually the CEO of the company where Kevin works. For my dad, who insists on titles and degrees, Kevin thought he would be perfect and introduced me.
I've never heard of Office Michael anyway. If you want to terminate it, go ahead. If you terminate a contract with a major company, you're not going to be able to say your annual income is $500,000 anymore. You're the one who's going to be in trouble.
Don't be so sure about that.
Huh?
Like I said before, Office Michael is a famous company that everybody wants to work with. They've gotten a request from your company as well, but I guess you don't know anything about IT and you're outside of that scope, so you don't know anything about it.
And what about that?
Oh goodness! Even though you have the education and the salary, you're not understanding the situation at all, are you?
Huh? Since I heard that my fiancé's father was working at the company, I accepted the offer from number one company. But because it's a major company and everybody there is so arrogant, I was getting pretty fed up. Because that company's all based on seniority, The employees that actually have knowledge in IT aren't able to get a fair review or praise, so they all keep changing jobs. And because not one person there has a sense of urgency, it's super hard for us to work with you anyway. But if you're cutting ties off with your daughter, then that means I can cut off all ties with number one company without any hesitation. What? Is it really that bad?
I don't think that even sums it up.
I'm gonna tell your CEO that his employees said that he won't let a guy like me marry his daughter and kick me out of his house, and that he cut off all ties with his daughter. So I'll tell him goodbye. You're just speaking nonsense right now, just to try to get me to accept the marriage, aren't you?
As if that would be the case, because whether you accept the marriage or not doesn't matter anyway.
What did you say?
Tad. Oh, that's not it. You're just an old guy I've cut off all ties with. So are you such a great husband that you can really say so much about somebody else's fiancé? Are you telling me that you're able to make your wife happy?
Yeah, I'm letting her live without any worries.
Honey, you truly are so oblivious to anything outside of earning money.
Huh?
I have almost never felt happiness in the time that I've spent with you. So I'd like to get a divorce.
Huh?
Actually, after he was so against my marriage with Kevin, my mom told me that I didn't need to listen to my father's opinion and to get married to the person I love. My mom was fed up with my dad, and during that time she told me she was also thinking about getting a divorce. But because I had my plan with Michael, I asked her to please wait until I brought over my new fiancé, because that would be way more fun anyways.
What are you going to do if you divorce me? Even though you're not even working? There's no way that you can survive by yourself!
Of course I can. I started a part-time job last month and I'm earning $1,300 a month. Even though I always said I wanted to work, you were stopping me and I was getting fed up. And yet, even though you were earning a lot, you were always so stingy with handling over living expenses, so I've become really good at saving.
What did you just say?
When I first got married to you, did you forget that you were only earning about $20K a year? But then you got a new job and you've only started earning more than $100K a year after you turned 45 years old. And yet you forget about that and you just care about titles and degrees. Even if somebody went to college or has a high salary, if you don't have any thoughtfulness towards your partner, you can't possibly say that you're making them happy. That's something that you taught me yourself. Titles and degrees, that's all you cared about. But you just wanted to brag about whatever success you think you had. But in the end, you weren't able to make me or Mom happy. Not only that, but you're being left behind by your wife that you dragged along for years, and you're probably going to end up being left by your company too.
What are you saying? I haven't been left behind by my company? I just sent an email to number one company, and they said they'd fire the employee in question. And they're begging me to continue our contract. What? This guy? Was he actually someone important?
Appearance isn't everything for people. It's also not just about education or their fame. Without knowing anybody, nobody has the right to judge the person that somebody else loves. But you're going to lose everything and can face the consequences by yourself.
No way. A phone call from the company. What on earth is going on?
You'll know what's going on when you answer the phone. My father was panicking, but we left him behind, and I took Michael and my mom and we walked out of the house. As it turns out, my dad's attitude towards his junior colleagues and staff were already a problem, so of course he was fired. My mother also got a divorce from him, and apparently he's looking for a new job, but because he's so fixated on annual income, he still hasn't been able to find a new job. He had also left all of the chores to my mom, so apparently the house is a disaster, to the point where the neighbors are complaining. As for my mom, she didn't ask for a separation of assets, and she's starting her life back up again from scratch. But she's working part-time and enjoying her life. As for me, I was able to get married to the person that I love. Honey, dinner's ready!
Coming! Wow, looks delicious.
That's right, I got married to the love of my life, Kevin! What happened to Michael, you ask?
Your cooking looks delicious as usual, Paige.
He's also here with us, looking proper in his suit and black hair. This is actually the real him. Yeah, but it's not like the three of us are living together. Actually, what Kevin suggested to me then was to put Michael in disguise and introduce him to my father, since he meets all of the titles and degree requirements. As it turned out, apparently Michael used to want to be an actor, and he got totally on board to get into disguise and pretend to be my fiancé. Thanks to you, Michael, we're able to live a happy, peaceful life now, so please do eat as much as you want without hesitating. I have nothing but gratitude for my brother-in-law who helped for the sake of our happiness.
I'll do anything to help if it's for my little brother's happiness. And in return, you guys better live happily ever after.
Yes! Right now, I'm super happy, but I know I'm only gonna become more and more happy. Thank you for watching! What kind of crazy people will we get to see next? Stay tuned for more!